My screen?
Yes.
Okay, so today I would say I would try maybe go not so deeply inside ethnoastronomy, maybe linguistics and so on, but maybe just have a quick introduction into Belarusian ethnoastronomy, Belarusian folk nominations, and so on. Okay, so this is just a quick agenda for today. Maybe not all the points will be covered, but anyway. So I will try to share quickly some artifacts which might be interesting in astronomical context as well, and probably in some folklore even. Some also discuss some folk star names and legends,
You
fallen
can.
stars.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, okay, and probably the concept of a star in Belarusian tradition. Thank you, Irina, and thanks to all organizers for this webinar. You have almost told all about that. The only thing I want to point in is that it was the Meteor Beliefs project from the International Meteor Organization, where they collected the beliefs about the meteors, about the fire dragons, all around the world. So it might be very interesting for comparison studies. And also you can see the Stellarium project. This can help not only to determine which stars were in some centuries, but also they have the branch like sky cultures. In this branch, they actually trying to collect as well the folk names from different folks around the world of folk star names. So I also provided them the Belarusian names and probably some Russians. I'm not sure, but this is just I want to point in. Okay, some interesting artifacts. This is the bowl, a cup, and along you can see the 12 calendar symbols. And Jonas Vaškunas from Lithuania, well-known ethnoastronomer as well. So he interpreted these as the zodiacal signs. So he told that it might be the old Baltic zodiacal signs. Also, one more or two interesting places or objects in Belarus is some known cup mark stones. Some researchers just gave an idea that it possibly might be a starry map, and also we have such kind of stones, and you can see here the horns in different orientations, and this is maybe the depictions of the different phases of the moon. So I just wanted to share these because maybe you have seen something in your regions and it would be very interesting to compare. But okay, let's start. So this is just my two informants. So, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the Belarusian folk star names and legends now. First of all, when we are talking about the celestial bodies, I guess we have to keep in mind that we have two different meanings of what does it mean, the celestial body. Because in terms of the tradition, the celestial body, as you can see, is in most cases, these are stars, the sun, and the moon. Because when we are talking about the comet, so usually people say that this is just a star with a tail. If we're talking about the meteor phenomenon, so this is just a falling star again. And if we are talking about the planet, so it's just a moving star. Especially when we are talking about the Venus, so it's just two different stars, the morning and the evening star. So in terms of tradition, the planet word means fate, so, and not the real planet, what we usually think about in terms of astronomy. Here is a well-known Big Dipper or Ursa Major, and in Belarusian tradition, and also in, I would say, in most East Europe and East Slavic and Central West Slavic traditions, most nominations are widely used in the European languages and having behind the idea of vegan. So usually I have heard during the expeditions that people say, oh yeah, there is a vegan in the sky, or wheels, or horse, or chariot, or Eliash vegan, or David's vegan, and so on. The main idea here and the most legends which were collected is mostly about the Christian saints, let's say, or prophets and so on. But definitely it might be just a replacement of old beliefs, and especially about the parent god, so Thunder god, and so on. Among the Christian interpretation, it presents the prophet Elias, who ascended into heaven on a cart. One more is that the wagon rolled over when the archangel Michael chased Lucifer away. So I guess this is looks mostly the second one. I mean, mostly like the just a fiction. Okay. Also, it's very interesting the eschatological belief associated with the star of Elcor. So it says that in the drawbar is a little star, a she-dog. When it chews the rope with which it's tied to the drawbar, the apocalypse will come. And I would say that is uh, quite popular legend in Ukraine. So currently I'm in process of preparing the brochure about the Ukrainian ethno-astronomy or astronomy, and I found that there are maybe definitely not the thousands of these legends, but a little bit a dozen of them were collected. So regarding the Ursa Minor or small deeper, it usually people even, I mean, in villages even do not know much about it. So the Ursa Minor is something like the addition, a companion for the Big Dipper. So then the nomination will be like small wagon or the small horse. So and the Stella Polaris, so polar star, is just simply called like northern star, or people usually describe that like the, or this is a standard star. So yeah, definitely it's used to determine the north. Okay, here is you can see the most popular stars and the parts of constellations, because you can imagine that we have a real difference between in terminology. So we have the science terminology constellation, and in the folk tradition, we do not have the name constellation. We have something like the group of stars, for example, nominations, or even some time to time, you can see, hey, you can see the SIEF star, but that means this is not the one star. This is like the constellation. But here on the right hand, you can see these bright blue stars. This is the Orion's belt, and on the left hand, you can see the Pleiades. So this is the most popular, I guess, all over the world constellations and the stellar clusters. So let's start also from Orion as well, or Cantina. In Belarusian tradition, at least we have the most popular nominations like haymakers. So just unfortunately, I didn't find any interesting legend about that. So, but when I was in one expedition in 2019, I guess, one old woman just told me that if haymakers stars are bright in the morning, then it would be easy to move. So it's probably just some kind of reflection of our world and the objects in our world into the heavens world. Also, it's a couple of records about the three stars. So perhaps they are the mythological three sisters who spin the thread of human life. So, but this is actually mostly like scientific interpretation, actually. I'm not sure that there really were some kind of legends, especially regarding the stars. Also quite popular nomination is carrying pole, so or yoke, the image of a woman who carries a rope. Here is one more interesting point that we can find exactly the same motive when we are talking about the spots on the moon. So, and that means that if we have this, let's say, astral motive, so it can migrate from different, let's say, objects, celestial objects. Also, it's very popular Three Kings, especially I guess it's popular in definitely Christian tradition, and usually this is the Magi who brought gifts to Christ. So you can see this picture on the right hand, and also quite many records which in which the Orion is the cross or true cross, and it's said to be the cross upon which Jesus was crucified. And also, I found some single records like rake, but actually rake is also the French name, and in some parts of Russia it also could be found. And Asilki is just a name of folk giants, it just one record, Swift and Jakobstev. But Jakobstev, what is interesting, is just very popular German nomination, Jakobstab. So here you can see just a map of distribution, let's say aerial studies of the aerial nominations. The circles are the models like haymakers, and the square, blank square is the carrying pole, and the square with the cross is cross, obviously, and the triangle is just the three sisters. So yeah, I can assume or suggest that probably some locuses here are not covered with researches. So, but what we have, we have. So let's go. Okay, and now Pleiades. Yeah, most part of Belarus in Belarus is covered with the astronomy like SIEF. So at least we have a few legends. One of them is through the SIEF, God sifted the seed of life. But I guess I think maybe it came from Adam Mickiewicz, the poem. Also, there is a legend that the sieve of the Mother of God, which she bent, it was collected on the border with Lithuania, and through this sieve, righteous souls are sifted from the sinners. So anyway, you can see that in most cases, this also just the latest Christian interpretations. So the next very interesting in terms of ethnolinguistics and the linguistics nominations are Valasajar, Visajar, and Valasinia. So they're interesting because the etymology still is unclear. Some researchers trying to interpret these names or to try to find the etymology in terms of the pagan god Veles or Volos, but actually I'm not sure is it right way to do that. Okay. Other one is hens or hens with chickens. From Tulska district, it came one legend that once the moon came down to the earth, and then the hens pecked the stars. So in I guess in our East Slavonic part, there are not so many recorded legends like that. So, and quite popular name Stajaria is just a sticks on which the haystack is held. You can see the picture on the right hand, and some single records like Sowers, Crone, and Seven People. And this is more interesting map because it directly represent the main areas of the nominations. This one is nomination like Babe, so it's very popular in Poland. This one is nominations like SIEF. So you can see we have along the Baltic these nominations as well, and it goes further in Estonia and Latvia and so on, and even sometimes we can see that on Caucasian region. This triangles is just the Visajari model. This is quite popular in Russia, at least in this part, what I have found as well, and on the border with the Ukraine. And a very popular model, hence. This model even popular in Central Europe, in Western Europe, and actually even in the east part of East Europe, I would say. So you can see this is a very, very, very big region here. And this map as well shows that when we are talking about some kind of etymology, or we want to discuss etymological questions here, we have to keep in mind that we have to work as well with the distribution of such kind of the nominations. So, okay, let's go further. Some other constellations which we can find, maybe description, quite simple, is Draco. So Dmi, the serpent, which was killed by Saint George, got hung near the same high star, which always stands in one place. Also for Corona Borealis, of 12 stars, the crown is woven and laid on the head of the Lord Jesus. So, and some, I would say, not unknown constellations, but constellations which were not somehow identified with the corresponding stars in the sky. So it it's really a big problem, because when you just go to some expedition, you meet some people, it usually happen in the day and not in the night. So that's it's not so easy to understand what about they talk then. What does it mean coffin? What does it mean crown snake, grass snake, and so on. Also for Cygnus, the name is like St. Peter Cross, for both is Ploughman and Capella She Goat. So for Venus, uh, usually the names are quite simple, like morning and the evening star. Again, as we told before, this is just two different stars in terms of traditional knowledge and understanding. In Catholic tradition, it's very popular to name this like Bethlehem star, at least what is happening on the in Belarus region. So, and some interesting, probably quite archaic names like Wolf Star, the Witch, the She Bear, Maria and Daria stars, Animal Star, and Zenitha. So I just want to maybe mention here that I've just translated the original Slavic nominations. So because then it would be like Medvedica, Zverynica, Ведьма Зорка, and so on. And the Milovica. Milovica is just the nomination which came from fiction, but became very, very, very popular in our region as well. Okay, you all know what is that. This is just the Milky Way. And in most of Belarusian region, we have the nomination for that like Bird's Way, like Goose Road, Grass Road. So when usually people say that along this road, birds fly to warm lands, to warm waters. So also we have the, I would say, patterns to nominate, to talk about the Milky Way, like the road to some, I would say, Saint City, Saint Town, maybe. So this is the road to Kiev, or let's say road to Jerusalem. Um, Less known is beliefs when the Milky Way is just the road for sands, or just the road for souls, or sometimes people say that along this road that the God is going somewhere. So with the sands, prophets, and so on. Also, quite interesting nomination is Chumak Road. So you know the Chumak is the nomination of people who brought the salt from one region to another, and this is really, really the Ukrainian nomination, or I would say the nomination with very popular in Ukraine, but also because we have the contacts. Definitely, I mean Belarusian Ukrainian linguistic context we have this nomination as well. And also a few legends about the Milky Way, because usually when we are talking about the Milky Way, at least we can keep in mind that this is something which came from the Greek probably, or from Latin and so on. But um, we have some beliefs also collected during the expeditions, that people just say that, okay, so the Milky Way is just when God or saints spilled milk there, or even you can see such kind of a legend that some man milked cows and the devil was not so far from him. God commanded not to give milk to the devil, but the man sold it to him. Well, and God saw it and started running to catch up him. And the devil were running away and spilled milk. So I'm not sure that it's really the uh, folk or let's say old legend, but at least even if it's not old, it just shows that people continue to think about the stars, the Milky Way, and try to interpret it somehow. Also, some single records is something like the Milky Way is the mother-in-law road. I collected this nomination in one only in one village, so and this seems to be really really local. And also road of Videwut and Bruten. This astronomy is quite interesting because Videwut and Bruten are uh, mythological brothers from Lithuanian region. So, but again, it was collected only once, and there are no another evidence that we do really have this nomination. And if we're talking about which birds are flying along the Milky Way, so we can get an answer. It might be like the northern lapwing, the grouse, sparrow, stork, duck, goose, and so on. Okay, the fallen stars and the dragons and the rituals. Again, the fallen star, the main concept is based that the star is it might be a soul of a person or rarely animal soul. Sorry. Okay, and then the soul, when we can see this fallen star, so this is the soul of a person who has born or died. It might be an angel. And for example, why you should make your wish when you see the fallen star, because this is the angel which is flies down to uh, soul of the dead person. Also, it might be an unbaptized child, or it might be as well a witch or sorcerer. Some people just say that, oh, if you see this fallen star, so it might be.
I think he lost the connection.
It
Let's
says
see.
frozen. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll wait. He will come back, I hope. Oh, here you
Sorry,
are.
so,
Yeah.
so sorry, sorry, sorry,
We
so
lost
sorry.
you. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Currently, I'm here.
Great
Sorry
to
for
see you
interrupting.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
May I continue? Just quickly, I can see
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes.
went,
Looking
uh,
forward to it. Yeah.
yeah. It always happens something. You never know. You never know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
Especially
and
when you are talking about witches also.
oh yes, that's true. Yeah, that's
Do not
true.
mention them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially at the time when the Halloween will be soon. Okay,
Yes. It's approaching.
yeah. Okay. The next thing is the fallen star is the fire dragon, and I have already mentioned that during the in this project, Meteo Folk Beliefs, they collected really, really many legends about that. I also presented for them some materials. But for example, also in our villages, like the usual description, the hood maybe is not the correct name here because this is just a north spot, but doesn't matter. The fire dragon, at whose home he lives, helps with household duties, brings home riches stolen from the other people's fields and gold. In the evening, it's sometimes possible to see it in the sky. If it flies fiery red, it brings gold. It just, I would say, something very simple and a usual description of the fire dragon or fallen star then. Uh, and I guess some fallen star beliefs fallen star is not just a soul, or maybe I would say it also the way how people can predict something. And here you can see that predictions are fortune telling on the groom. If you can see that the star on some specific day, if you can see that the star follows those way, that means that the groom will be from this part. Also about the childbirth and the death or and the mental qualities of the deceased, all of these beliefs are constructed on the main idea is that we have a star, we have we can see the real properties of the star, like brightness, like location, or location in terms of the objects on the Earth, and so on and so on. And the speed of falling definitely. And depends on all of these properties, then we can just construct our beliefs. And this part I guess will be more interesting because some actions, some maybe ritual actions as well. If you see a fallen star, you have to sometimes you have to cross this star, or you have to cross the star and yourself. And this is the ritual to uh, baptism ritual. So because the fallen star is the unbaptized child. Also, if you see that for especially for for girls, if you see that the star is falling in the sky, you have to pull your hair, and then you will have the hair so long at the meteor's tail. Also, one interesting point is that if someone have the wards on the hands, so you have to just, when you see the star, you have to shake your hand. So, and then this ward will be just also falls down as like the same at the star. Also, one collected by me legend is about if some girl wanted to get rid of pregnancy, so she would put her hands behind her back and shake her palm. So it's very interesting. Does it work then? So again, quite popular legend is if you see the fallen star, just make your wish. And also, it very interesting legends about the witches which have the ritual stealing of the star. So they can just get the star from the heaven and put it under the bed and then uses this energy of the star. So I guess that would be enough. I guess we lack of time now. So do you have some questions then?
Thank you so much, Tsimafei. It was wonderful, fabulous.
Yeah, unfortunately, but
Questions,
which
parallels from other traditions, the Baltic ones? Yes, please. Who raised the hand? I can't see the name. Anastasia. Anastasieva. Yeah.
Yes,
Katya.
thank you. Can you hear me?
yeah,
Yes.
Good. Thank you for your presentation. It was very interesting.
thank you.
And I was wondering, because you have mentioned so many names of the stars connected with the Christian tradition,
Yes.
and you have hinted at the fact that some of them might have been connected with previous pagan traditions. So I was wondering if there are any names or, I don't know, any legends where Perun or some other pagan gods are explicitly mentioned and named.
If you're talking about the stellar legends, so
Yes,
about the
yes.
astronomers, so it seems in Belarusian tradition we do not have that. The only thing is that most researchers just trying to make interpretations, you know. So
Mhm.
that's the main idea, and that's quite clear because Christianity changed many things here, you know, and it's quite strong. And the paganism probably was a little bit moved from our language, but it
Mhm.
still stay in some our rituals.
Okay.
So definitely we have some connections like devil. What is devil? The Perun in Belarusian language actually means Perun means the thunderbolt there. So we have
Yes,
these connections,
that's
but
why I was
it's not so.
wondering if
Yeah.
it's
But
it's very connected.
yeah, it seems to me we have just only one record where the Big Dipper is called like the Perunov voz. That
Mhm.
means like Perun
Yes.
wagon. But I'm not sure even that this is the true record, because you know many researchers just want to find the pagan names and so on and so on.
Yes.
I it's I just want to say that it's really what I have collected. It doesn't show that some implicit, you know, notations about that. Only interpretation, at least at this time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oksana, you have a question
Yes,
or a
yes, I
comment?
have. Thank you very much. It was really interesting. And actually, there are a lot of parallels, definitely, especially with this. The first is I marked here, it is words. Yes, because in also in Balkans, it is everywhere. And also this enchanting spells against the words, it is also happens actually at the moon, but also there is a prohibition to count the stars. Does it exist something like that? And basically, that is my question. Are there any, for example, you mentioned what you should do if you see the falling stars, and what shouldn't you do when you see the stars or just fall, regardless if they are falling or just stable?
Yeah, I do understand. The only problem, I'm not sure from which exact traditions it came. I'm just mean it was also prohibited to show your finger to some star because then it can fall. That's the
Yeah.
main reason here. And probably but I'm not sure, is it the Caucasian tradition or maybe Russian tradition? It was one record when you put your finger on the star, so then you will get this wart on your finger.
Yes, exactly.
And
It is
that's why
one,
you can,
a lot of material
Yeah.
like that in the Balkans. And the second question about, but I think that you have already answered, but just in case, about these Ukrainian witchers that that tend to steal their stars. Because actually I was looking at that material, and because in the Balkans, they steal, the witchers steal the moon and collect the stars. And the only Slavic material I found, it was Ukrainian, and in Belarus, that's
No.
nothing like that.
No, we don't have, we don't have that.
And
Yeah, it's
the
very
rest,
interesting.
sorry, can I ask one more question? Am I allowed?
Yes.
Am I allowed? Because about, are there any mnemonic tricks to remember the names of the stars, for example, to place them all together in one picture? Just a, like a story that, that there is one, for example, the bird's road, and there one bird, and there the wagon, all together, just to help to remember it.
You mean how we can do that, or does it
Oh,
exist
no,
in
not
tradition?
how we can, but how your informants do, for
Informants.
example, because when they teach their children.
I understood. Unfortunately, during the expeditions, it mostly like not the complete story about something. At least started from the 2000, so it mostly like the just they just recall that, okay, there is a SIEF, and also my grandma told me that somewhere is haymakers. And when you ask, okay, and what about this line, this white line? Oh, this is just for birds. The God created this for birds. So this is again, and that's why if we are talking in terms of like researchers, we are trying to combine all these in some system to see how does it work, how does it live. But I'm not sure that at least in 19th or 20th centuries that was like that. So the only things is mostly, I guess, were something like that were collected by Gladishova and Mashinsky, where they have real something like that, because they can say, okay, here is the haymakers, and there is there are women who carry some food for them. That might be, but that's all, I guess. Other stuff is like the parts, just parts of something, just cut off of whole this picture.
Yes,
So,
fragment, indeed, yes.
yeah, fragment, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Because only once we recorded something like that, but because our informants tell us, of course they don't have a system. I mean, the system we need, but they have their own system, and because some certain order, because they started giving us names for. They say first appears this one constellation, and then another, and also there is this one. So they have got some logic.
This is a little bit another part, because if we are talking about the story in terms, I would say.
But well, my question was, you answered yes, that you gave the answer I needed.
I just want to say that we usually think in terms of the Greek mythology when we have many interpretation legends, where we can just take the celestial map and see the myths in this map. So, but if we're talking about what is arising first and second and third and so on, I guess this is not about the myth. But at least Jonas Vaškūnas, I guess, recorded one belief regarding the planets. So depends on which planet rises first, then it will forecast the harvest for the whole year. Depends on the planet. But this just, as far as I know, the only record from his side. So others just, I would say, what is rises. If you see Pleiades, then you have to see something else. Then you something else. you see. But this is not the story like, okay, so no, maybe not from East Slavic parts, but from German, as far as I remember. They do have these legends about the hens. So when the Pleiades is raised up, so these are the children who were escaped from the bad father or something like that. And each time when they rise up, so he has to somewhere to hide and to do something, you know, because in these terms it might be a legend like that. So, and I guess I can try to remember something more, but
This is
we have another
such
question.
a rich topic. So
Thank you
Anna,
very
and
much.
then
Thank you.
Emily. Anna, great to see you, Anna.
I'm very happy to see you. Congratulations for all the presentations and for your presentation. I really enjoyed hearing about the legends or beliefs connected to hay, because I studied traditional ecological knowledge concerning hay. And we don't have in Romania beliefs or connections, traditional connections with the stars concerning the hay and haymaking. But we have a lot of legends connected to saints, different saints that could be angry if you work on their days. I was wondering if you also have this. I know it's not the topic of your research, but it's just because we have it in all over Romania, especially Saint Elijah, for example.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I would answer that we have the main, let's say, the main way how the sense can force someone who didn't or who probably who did something during the festival, during the holiday, for example, and then we have the different ways what gonna be with such persons. So they might turn into the stones, they might turn to the stars, or maybe sometimes to the trees and so on. And I would say that this is the main way how it happens. And the specific code, I would say celestial code, let's say plant code and so on might be different. Yeah. So in our legends, if we're talking about the stars, I'm not sure that we do have some kind of them. Mostly this is just like the SIEF, okay, this is just a SIEF of Godmother. If we're talking about haymakers, so we don't know how they appear there. So maybe it's just a reflection of what is happening on the earth. So I would say this might be an answer. But again, I just want to say, and this was one example, we know about the Orion's belt, and this is called like carrying pole. But exactly something like the same we have in the legends about the moon spots. So, and this is then the complete story then, and we can consider it. This is also just a one part of the, let's say, myth, I would say, which were just fragmented into different parts, into different codes, semantic codes. So that's why you're completely right in terms of our current topic. So because we just focused on the celestial bodies, but this is all our knowledge, I would say. And yeah. And also I have heard about interesting atlas about the Milky Way star names, Romanian star names. So there is one map about the Milky Way, and also there is a very good book from Darina Mladenova. So
exactly, yeah.
For this region.
I know that Celestial Observatory Museum from Mare made a project about traditional names of stars. I don't know details, but maybe I can send through Irina contacts to
nice.
them.
Yeah,
could be interesting.
It would be very interesting, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Emily?
Yeah, it's great to have all this field work from both Oksana and Avilin. Yes, tremendous. Avilin, I was wondering, did you find any use of a star as a signal for agricultural labor at all?
Yeah, sure. I'm just a little bit cut off the presentation, but
Okay.
yeah, because we spent too much time, I guess, a lack of time we have. But yeah, definitely. So the main idea is, may I share my screen again, maybe quickly?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. If nobody's, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I just a little bit cut off the presentation. Here is the main concept is that the star, as you can see, is just the different layers of folk understanding what is the star. So it simultaneously might be a human soul, a mythological character, or even a symbol or a mushroom. So, but answer on your question, I would say that yes, we do have that. So the main idea is that the stars, the pragmatic side of the stars, is that we can determine the daily time, like determine that by placement of the Big Dipper. So also determine different directions, and definitely there are determination of some traditional festivals, especially St. George's Day in the spring and in the autumn. So it also they use the Pleiades. So and also I have found one. I collected one record during expeditions that when the Orion's belt is raised up, so this was the symbol of the start of the baptism of Jesus festival. So, but again, this is, I just want to say that this is not the mathematical identification that the star is, the festival is started. This is symbolic way. Because you can imagine that, especially in East Europe, the weather is not so good in many times. So nobody knows, maybe it might be rainy. Also, as far as I know, Jonas Vaishkunas published an article about the Pleiades and determines the different festivals on the Lithuanian material. And yeah, he also provided some information about that, and even the prognostics about the summer. So, I mean, would it be rainy in the summer or it wouldn't be? So that's that. Yes, yeah, we do have that.
Other
What about
questions?
St. George's Day particularly? What star would be looked for? St. George's Day.
Which star? Pleiades star.
What would be looked for on St. George's Day?
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe you answered it already, but what what particular star would be St. George's?
Okay, so the SIEF star.
Which?
SIEF. This is Pleiades.
Yes, it is that one. Because I find St. George's Day the equivalent of the 1st of May. You know, it's Beltane in the Celtic realm, but it's St. George's Day over much of Europe.
Yeah.
So I would see a direct connection with what I was saying. Do
Mm-hmm.
people actually look for it, do you think, on that day? As you say, the weather doesn't allow it often. Do people look for it?
At least according to records, yes, definitely. They try to look for that. So,
Thank you.
but again, we always have to keep in mind not only at least from my point of view, not only the mythological context, but also the reality, because people always live in an environment. So, and if in somewhere we have, let's say, only 100 sunny days, so it's not so easy to observe the stars each time, and especially
Well, you
some
don't need to
specific.
tell us it's in Scotland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they do not have the names for the stars in Scotland. What is it? Okay. Maybe some questions?
Other questions? I have several questions, but I do not want to keep everybody. And maybe just one question. Do you see any connection between birds and falling stars? Because you mentioned this ritual of giving names to the unbaptized children. The same we have in Polesia with the birds crying, you know, this fact. If you hear a crying bird, then you think this is an unbaptized child and baby.
I
And
do
give the
understand.
names, same names, Jan and Hannah.
Oh.
Is there any connection, or this is just a version of?
I guess it will be just a version, because we definitely have, we can connect whatever we need, because if we have a bird's way, and we also in parallel we have a legend that along this bird's way the souls go to some place, to the Lord, and so on. So definitely we can try to connect them. But also there is one interesting point which came from the, I guess, 16th century, from Lithuanian materials, but were written in Latin, is that it was a short text which told when the person died. So he was seen riding the horse, and he was going into the heaven like a bird or something like that. But again, this is not a direct connection. It's just maybe it might be just an idea about the soul and what does it mean soul, because in Belarusian tradition, for example, only the bee, I guess, has a soul like a human soul, and the animals have their own some kind of a soul.
Different souls, yeah.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. So then how we can connect these souls? If we were in India, we can do that.
But we're not.
Yeah.
So, Irina, Stahl, and Mara, would you like to tell us anything as organizers of this webinar?
Well, I'm so sorry, but this is so beyond my knowledge. I love the presentation. I adore it. I've always been fascinated by stars and rituals in connection with them, but unfortunately, I don't know much about it, so I can't make any comments. I'm so sorry.
Any organizational issues regarding our group? The newsletter, have everybody seen? The
SIEF newsletter.
The SIEF, yeah.
Yes. Well, it was sent out to everybody. I don't know if our new members have received it. Just the funding for the ritual year for the working groups. That's something that interests all of us, and it will help us to finance our future meetings. And
the next one in Riga, hopefully next
hopefully June. At least hybrid, or if not, hopefully in person. Maybe everything will calm down. And our next webinar, maybe we should plan for it until the end of the year.
Yes, please do apply your ideas. We'll appreciate this.
We had a Christmas meeting, and maybe we can have
we'll
something.
Have a Christmas meeting, yeah, winter meeting, yeah, or maybe an additional Christmas meeting. Mare, are you here? Mare Kõiva?
Yeah, I'm here.
We're very indebted. Yeah, Mare, thank you for having us. And Maris is our technical assistant. Thank you, Maris and Mare.
Be completely lost without her.
To all presentators, because so beautiful presentation. It's not the everyday possibility. So thank you very much, and I like very much mapping. So thank you, Tsimafei, for all these maps. It's somehow made very clear where we can find what kind of names of stars and also motives.
I will send you the link to the Romanian conference because it's on Astronomy and it's connecting the exactly the findings, the material with the mythology. So maybe you'll be interested to apply to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
I just maybe I just can say sorry for these interruptions, but it's only because the
Okay.
witch, some witch, I don't know.
Yes, yes. It's
So
not
we
They
your
always
fault,
occur.
really. No,
or maybe because of
it
Halloween.
happens. It happens, yes. To sum up, I would like to say that the three presentations showed us several important issues for our research in the ritual year. This is actually the general idea of Emily Lyle, who wanted to organize this SIEF group, making parallels between cosmological views, calendric issues, and the human being life, so to say. So we saw here the interconnections between the skies, gods, and a human being. So I was very much impressed by all the three papers. And one thing which is so important for us who work in the field, in spite of the fact that at the beginning of the 19th century, there were predictions that the tradition was dying, but still in the 21st century, we do have very interesting and unique records. We can still work in spite of all those media and scientific influence on our interlocutors. Thank you so much to all who joined us, and of course the presenters and our hosts, and Irina, who always makes so beautiful posters. Stay safe and healthy.
See you
Have a
soon
nice
again.
day. Sure.
And see
Thank you
soon.
very much.
Bye, Emily.
Thank you.
So nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Yes, great
Bye.
to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.